Ladies and gentlemen, it is here, the long-awaited. We thought we couldn't excavate it. We thought it was lost to the sands of time, I guess you could say. Buried somewhere deep within the Valve archives. But our team of experts, specifically Zoid from Valve, huge shout out to Zoid, who does all the server work for them. Thank you, Zoid. We love you. Has been able to dig up game number 3 of Fear versus Funn1k, the 1v1 Shadow Fiend matchup. Should be an interesting game from what I've heard. It's a little bit wacky. We'll get into it very quickly. Not going to bother going through the rules in too much detail. This is the deciding game 3. It's a best of 3 format. It was TA versus Venomancer. The players each tried their hand at each side. And well, when it was all said and done, Venomancer prevailed. It seems the new refraction is just a little bit too weak, especially when you're not bottle crowing, to be able to handle Veno 1v1. So the good news is, maybe not the fairest matchup, but each player got a shot at each side. And now we go to a much fairer, if potentially volatile, game number 3. It's going to be 1v1 Shadow Fiend mid. This is the first time we've ever had to do it in a Fistful of Tangoes here at Beyond the Summit. There's no items, there's no runes, and the reason for this is that one of the heroes must be created via cheats, because there is no same hero mode in Dota 2 yet. Note to Valve, please add same hero mode. Thank you very much. But until they add that, this is the best we can do. So to make it fair, the player who's spawning a hero via cheats, technically it's actually considered a bot, although you can control it, will not... he'll be no items, no runes, and so will the player who's got the actual hero, the normal one. So that's how we made the matchup as fair as possible. And in this mode, the first kill or first tower wins. So I've gone over the matchup very quickly. We're in the brackets right now, winner bracket semifinals. This is game 3. The winner moves on to face Cinderin. And I know a lot of you have general questions about scheduling at this tournament. There have been delays. The reason for that is simply just issues scheduling the matches. That's the only reason for the delays. There's no big secret. None of the players have dropped out, but with New Year's, with the holidays, with people traveling, la-di-la-di-la, people hungover, whatever the case is, they haven't been able to play the games. But we are hoping to have a couple more matches happening in rapid succession over the next few days. We'll see if we're able to get them played, but if it comes to it, we'll play 2-3 games in a day. We don't mind doing that, especially since G League is starting to draw to a close. We'd love to have this wrapped up before G League ends, but if not, we'll still cast the games. We'll just air them at a different time. We will announce everything, of course, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, facebook.com/BeyondTheSummitTV, twitter.com/BeyondTheSummit. So if you're not already following them, you should be. That way you can stay up to date on the tournament. Okay, so we're in the winner's bracket. That's enough general information about the tournament. This is game 3. It's time for the deciding match. Who's it going to be? Will it be Funn1k? Will it be Fear? We'll find out after this. Welcome back, everybody, to a Fistful of Tangoes. No, not the G League, although I had my G League overlay up there. This is a Fistful of Tangoes. It's Funn1k versus Fear. If you missed the first 2 games from this series, I will not spoil them for you now, but you should go check the VODs first, because I'm sure people in the chat are spoiling you now. Some of you will know the result of this game already. I did announce it on stream since I thought the suspense might actually kill a man. So the result has already been announced for those of you who heard about it. Try not to spoil in the chat, but it's already probably being spoiled as I say that. So yeah, let's go ahead and just don't read chat if you don't want to be spoiled. With all that being said, this is the deciding game 3. Even if you know the outcome, it will be interesting to see how the particular game turns out. Remember, these players have to spawn their heroes via cheats. It looks like they... Interesting. There's 2 Shadow Fiends having some issues actually creating the heroes with cheats properly, but hopefully they'll get it sorted out soon. Apparently you have to rebind your hotkeys, so a couple technical difficulties. Obviously, same hero mode would be a little bit simpler, but this one is relatively entertaining. And, well, let's see. How's this matchup going to shake out? There's no items, there's no runes. And when we look at it, Shadow Fiend is 38 base damage at level 1. You always see players get a lot of plus stats. Sometimes you'll see them try and rush a bottle, but even then you get at least a couple branches and maybe a slippers as well. You can't really go for a full eco build, but with no stats, last hit is going to be extremely difficult. And you might be thinking, oh, I'll just raise to last hit. But here's the problem. No runes, no items, so you really have to conserve that mana pool. You don't want to be spamming level 1 raises just to get 1 or 2 souls, and then find yourself unable to fight because they've got the raises and they use them on you. So mana and HP are two of your most precious resources, potentially even more important than last hits would be, because you can't use the gold. So the only point to getting the last hits is to build up your souls, which is still an important factor, but certainly not the only one. It looks like the unpause is here. No point in checking the runes because we've said no runes allowed. So you see the players not even going to them. A bunch of items were purchased. Then I think whoever was on this side. And speaking of which, who is on each side? Let's introduce that now. So we have Fear, or Yarobi from DC. Fan, Yarobi, the real king of 1v1 mid, but he's retired. He's moved on to greener pastures. So Fear of Evil Genius is going to be on the Radiant side for this matchup. And then we have Funn1k on the Dire side. Fear versus Funn1k. Who's going to win? Somebody whose name starts with a capital F. That much I can tell you. And of course, in this 1v1 mid, the early creep blocking is going to be very, very important. And it looks like Funn1k actually gets the better block. And I just realized now, I don't have in-game audio. So let's get some in-game audio. There we go. Didn't really miss too much action as far as that goes. Already Funn1k getting a slight edge when it comes to the auto-attack harassment. Though every little auto-attack, remember, you do have your base regen, but it's very low in Shadow Fiend. Only 1 HP per second. So any auto-attack you take is going to take at least 30 plus seconds. Well, maybe a little bit less after armor reduction. It's going to take a while to regen that back up. That's the point. And so getting those last hits, yes, important, but you don't want to do it at too much of a cost. Remember, this matchup is extremely volatile. The first kill or the first tower wins. And I have a feeling it's going to come down to the first kill. Without having bottle or items, as we see the first raise coming out, it's pretty difficult to actually count on this going long enough to get a tower. Because if you have to go back to base, you've almost all but lost the matchup, I would say, in most cases. Since when you come back, they're going to be way ahead in levels and souls. And, well, when it comes to souls, dead even so far. It doesn't matter if you get denies or last hits. They're all the same in this matchup. And for both players, it seems like so far the last hit is pretty even. The Radiant Shadow Fiend is slightly ahead. We see +6 souls already for him. And +5 for Funn1k. So Fear, slightly ahead. Does have the better defensive posture right now, being at his tower. Those phrases that were thrown out by Funn1k just the last hit, maybe pushing the lane a bit more than he would like. Nobody leaving the lane, the 2-minute. Oh, forget about the game clock. None of that matters. This is just 1v1 mid. And now we see Fear really pulling ahead. He's actually got already 9 souls up compared to Funn1k, who... how many does Funn1k have right now? Funn1k is sitting on 6, so now 5 souls ahead. Fear's really pulling ahead in souls. His plus damage, +24. Funn1k's manning up. He thinks he can win the game, but can he actually do it? Fear throws the raise and the auto attack. Fear pulls a fast one on Funn1k. Funn1k went for it. He said, screw it. I'm falling behind on CS. I don't want this to turn into a last-setting war, and I'm just going to go for the win. Unfortunately, well, he went for the win, but what he got was a loss. So that brings us back to the playoff brackets now. Fear is going to be advancing. He'll be facing Cinderin in the winners bracket finals. Whoever wins that match is 1 best out of 5 away from winning the tournament. So that should be a real exciting treat. Remember, first place is getting a pretty hefty prize pool. I think it's an additional $200. It might be $250. We haven't decided exactly how we're going to distribute the extra prize winnings. But for this particular match, Funn1k, or Fear rather, is going to take home $40. Funn1k on the other side, he drops down. He'll be facing the loser, or the winner of Sing Sing versus Merlini down there in the losers bracket. So he's got a tougher road to the finals. He's going to have to win at least 2 extra matches compared to whoever wins Cinderin versus Fear. So it's a tougher road. No more margin for error. He can lose 1 game per series, but he's got to win the series. That wraps it up for Funn1k versus Fear. We'll have more action coming up soon. Most likely the G League awaits, but possibly more Fistful of Tangoes action. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned. More great Dota coming your way soon. And it's all here on Beyond the Summit.